what's up, hello! My name is Emma, and today we have another episode of Booktubing 101. If you didn't know, 2 years ago today, I uploaded my very first Booktubing 101 video where I just gave you guys some general tips on how to start a booktube channel, and from there I've uploaded quite a few different themed videos related to booktube where I teach you guys how to kind of navigate the community and do different things and just like helpful hints. So I haven't done an episode of Booktubing 101 in a while, and I knew the 2-year anniversary was coming up, so I decided to do a Q&A where I just answer your specific questions that you have about booktube. There are a lot of questions and I am still scrolling, and you guys know I talk for a while, so this is going to be a very long Q&A, so just prepare yourselves. How do you deal with hate on your videos? If you guys have been following me since the Shadowhunters era of my videos, you guys probably know I do get quite a lot of hate from not enjoying the show as much as everyone else, which results to not as many mean comments on YouTube, but a lot of hate on Twitter and Tumblr. What I have learned from this experience is don't answer. I have gone through these past 2.5 years, almost 3 years of YouTube where I am feisty and sassy and I'm ready to defend myself, but I've realized that that's not the best way to handle things anymore. I understand it's a compulsion, but I've watched my very innocent viewers get involved in situations that don't involve them just because they care for me and want to help me out, and I just can't deal with that stress of watching innocent people get bombarded by people that just have nothing to do with it. My advice to you is if you're getting negative comments, don't respond, block, delete. There is nothing wrong with that. Nobody's going to look down on you for that. It doesn't mean that you're weak and you can't deal with hate. It just means that you're filtering out the negativity in your life, which is a positive thing. I have a couple questions on discussing controversial topics, which does lead into the hate, so it's kind of a related question. I think videos on controversial topics are really beneficial to the community because it gets the creator thinking, it gets the community thinking. The way I'm able to set up my camera and talk about something that I know a lot of people aren't going to like is I just remember that I am confident in my own ideals, and while I am fully open to listening to the perspectives of others and I would love to gain more knowledge on how the issue affects somebody else, I know that this is how I truly feel and nobody else is going to make me feel bad about that. So I think once you are able to be confident in the fact that this is how I feel and it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't agree with it, I think that's the best way to go about posting a controversial video. Any advice of giving an honest review on a book you did not like that you were either sent or afraid that the author might see it? One thing that goes without saying in this community is honesty is necessary. You need to be open and honest in your videos, and it doesn't matter if you were reflecting on something that you picked up on your own or if you were sent it or if you're being paid for it. Honesty is key, and there are no exceptions to that. If I am ever obligated to talk about something on my channel that I wasn't a big fan of, I think the best way to go about it is explain your feelings but also offer a different perspective. So for example, the first negative review I had to give when I didn't like the book, every time I said something like, I didn't really like this, but if you're this type of person, you might like it for these reasons. So try and open up your own perspective and see if there's anything that could appeal to a different population of people watching. But if there is nothing that you view in a positive light about this book, you have to just sit there and say, I did not like this, and nothing is going to change that. I have a couple questions on video editing, and if this is something that you guys would like a video on specifically, I definitely will do, but just to go quickly into it, I started editing videos like 7 years ago on Windows Movie Maker. I transitioned to Sony Vegas Pro 8, and now I'm currently using Adobe Premiere Pro. Editing is not that hard once you have practice it. When editing, the only things that you really need to learn to do as like a basic level of YouTube editing is jump cuts, which means you cut out the little spaces in between talking or silence or ums or whatever. You just cut those out or cut out the mess ups, and that's all you need to do. So when you're looking up tutorials, look for things like cutting, splitting, slicing, anything along those lines that's going to enable you to create more clips from one. That's really all you need to know when going into editing a booktube video. How to make your videos under like 20 minutes. Do you know who you're talking to? My videos are not under 20 minutes, but I did get a lot of questions on time management and how to manage booktube with college and work, but I actually do have a full video on how to booktube with a busy schedule, and that's in the playlist of Booktubing 101 videos in the description. Have things planned out before filming, whether you need notes for a discussion or a review, if you need to script something out fully, if you need to have your tag questions ready, if you need to hold up certain books in a video, just have all of that ready and set up before you film. Because I have so many videos that I have to make and so many Instagram posts that I have to make, I actually made a social media schedule where I have a list of different videos to film and to keep me on track with which ones are filmed, which ones are edited, and which ones are just written, and which ones are ready to go up. And I have an actual schedule of months as to what videos I'm going to upload on each day. So if you're like me where you have a ton of ideas and a ton of videos that you're excited to post, try and actually organize them in a certain way, whether it's on your phone or on paper. And you also have to take a look at your schedule. I mean, if you're at school from 9 to 3 p.m. and then you do homework until 6, your prime time to film and edit videos is going to be from like 6 to 9 p.m. and then go to sleep. Or if your schedule's all over the place, like I have a 5-hour break some days at school, and that's why I'm filming right now. But while I'm trying to get through a million questions, definitely go watch that video because it is so much better than what I can offer you right now. I have a couple questions about writing reviews or writing spoiler-free reviews, and this is another one I have a full-fledged video on how to improve your book reviews. For spoiler reviews, I generally will just write notes chronologically as I read, and then I will go over those in the video. There's no like rhyme or reason because I'm mostly just talking about I like this part and I didn't like this part. For spoiler-free reviews, I do think it's good to have a general kind of template that you go over every time you write one. So things you might want to include in that are writing, the plot, the characters, and then I try and include a couple other things that may be individual to that specific book. So for example, if it's tackling a diverse topic, that's something I'll include in there. If I think there's something about the book that will be attractive to a certain population, like people who really like action books or people who really like character-based books, those are all things to include, but generally just have a template of things that you think are important in reviews and just write down what it has to do with that specific book you're reviewing every time you write that review. A lot of questions on advertising yourself, getting subs, getting known in the community. My main suggestion for people who are looking to grow more in the community is you need to upload frequently, and I understand that's not something that everyone can dedicate their time to, but if you really want to grow on YouTube, you definitely need to be regularly posting content. Also, be interactive in the community. You have a much better chance of getting a subscriber from somebody whose videos you comment regularly on compared to just only posting your own videos and not really trying to engage with anyone else. And also, while keeping in mind that everyone's content needs to be individual and that's something that you kind of need to figure out for yourself, definitely talking about popular topics will help you gain more subscribers. My biggest subscriber bump started when I posted the Shadowhunters reviews, and everyone was typing in Shadowhunter TV review and they were coming across my video, and so while that's something that I was making for myself, people stayed because they enjoyed the content and it was something they were interested in. There's also a lot of questions on explaining the Booktube community to others. My normal spiel about Booktube is it is a community on YouTube where people talk about books. So we do book reviews, we do tags answering questions about certain things about books, or we discuss certain things that are going on in the book world at the moment. I also include how this is how I made virtually all of my friends and how I've traveled all over the country just to hang out with them and go to events with these same people in the community. And I think just reinforcing its importance in the book world and in your personal life is definitely what you should focus on if you're trying to explain it to somebody who might not be involved in Booktube. At what point did you start to feel like you belonged in the community? I mean, I had been making videos since January of 2014, and over that first summer is when I first started to gain friends. So I think that was when I first started to feel part of the Booktube community, when I was interacting with people from the community and not just posting videos. On a similar note, at one point in going to signings and things like BEA, did you start to feel like an actual booktuber and not an imposter? I would probably say BookCon 2015, when I was my second BookCon, because that's when I had so many friends there. Booktube is a really community-oriented community, and so I think by having friends and people to talk to and share the experience with just ultimately uplifts every experience, like going to these events. But remember that if you go to an event and you have a book blog or a bookstagram or a Booktube channel, you are a blogger, a bookstagrammer, or a booktuber. Like, there's no specific ranking where you ultimately hit the title. Like, it just happens if you post that kind of content. Do you think it is necessary to write down every single thing you're going to talk about in a video? No. I am somebody who scripts a lot of my videos, like discussions and reviews, but when it comes to things like book hauls and tags, I don't even bother. It kind of just comes along with growing with your channel. I mean, you'll learn what you don't need to write down. Like, if you're talking about a book you bought, normally you just talk about your excitement to read it. But in a review, it might be more helpful to have a set of notes or even to write out full sentences just so you can make sure the point you want gets across. But despite scripting a lot of my videos, I go off script all the time, and it's not something that you need to keep with. So just kind of experiment, see what feels more natural to you. What was the main reason you started your channel? This is a topic I want to talk about for an entire video itself, but basically in high school when I started reading for the first time, I didn't have anyone to talk about it with, and everyone thought I was weird for reading. And so one day, just looking at Mortal Instruments stuff, I found people that made videos about those books, and I thought it was really cool, and so I mainly joined it just so I could have a voice and talk about books without feeling judgment from people who didn't understand. There's a lot of questions on gaining confidence, which is another thing I feel like I'm not the most qualified for. I have personally been on YouTube since I was 13. I've been filming videos for a really long time, so I am used to this, whereas a lot of people will set up a camera for the first time and film their first ever video for Booktube. My only advice for that is to talk about what you know and don't approach things until you feel like you're ready. For example, book reviews are super intimidating, and that might not be the first thing you want to start off with. You might want to start off with a tag where you're just able to answer questions, and that might feel more natural to you. I think it's totally okay if your first couple Booktube videos are tags and challenges and book hauls and wrap-ups, and I think it's totally cool if for a while on Booktube you're only talking about the same books that you really love and know well, because it's so much easier to talk about those things than a book that you're not as well versed in, because you're getting more comfortable in front of the camera without overwhelming yourself with what you have to talk about, which I think is really important. Just be confident in the things you talk about, and therefore you will become more confident talking in front of a camera and can eventually tackle bigger topics. What equipment should a new booktuber use? Use what you have. Do not go out and buy an $800 camera and a $100 lighting set. Don't do it. The 3 things you need to focus on are filming, editing, and lighting. On a basic level, you can use your camera phone to film. Every single computer should come with an editor, and you can start there because they're mostly very basic and they're free, and use natural lighting or lamps. But I just can't imagine what it would be like for somebody to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on camera equipment just to start and then find out it's not for them. When you feel ready and you feel dedicated to Booktube, that you want to invest actual money into it other than buying books, go for it, but I would definitely recommend whatever you have, start with, and you can build from there. Somebody asked me about copyright and using audio clips in your videos. There are 2 places I'd recommend to go for that. The first is the YouTube audio library, where you can either use songs that are published externally that you listen to on the radio, and you can find out what the complications are of those. A lot of the time you're just not able to make money off of that video, but sometimes you can get a copyright strike, so that's where you'd want to check that out. Also, in the audio library, you're able to get access to a lot of free songs that you can use depending on the mood or the style of music that you're able to put on your videos with no problems. And if you're like me who loves electronic music, there is this channel called No Copyright Sounds that offers free music to creators as long as you credit the original producer, which I think is really great. So those are the 3 places that I would recommend checking out if you were looking to put more music or audio into your videos. In the Booktube world, are there cliques? I think whenever somebody's in the spotlight and they hang out with a specific group of people, everyone kind of assumes that the only reason they're hanging out with those people is because they're of the same ranking, whereas with Booktube, it's just that friend groups hang out. My personal experience with Booktube has never been cliquey, and I have always felt accepted from the very start. Whether it was BookCon 2014 when I had 500 subscribers, or it was this past BEA when I had over 20,000, I have never felt less accepted in the community based on my subscriber rank, and I think everyone just needs to respect that some people are friends, and that's where most of their attention is going to be focused to, and nobody deserves any kind of backlash from that. What is the best part of Booktube? I have said this a lot, but it is definitely the friends I have gained. I have such a huge circle of friends now from all different stages of joining Booktube. I am still friends with the people that I first started talking to those first few months into Booktube, and I have friends that I am making every single day. Because of that, I am more inclined to fly across the country to go to BEA in Chicago or to YALLFest in South Carolina. I have finally found a group of people that accept me for me and don't have any qualms about my quirks or anything that anyone else in the past is giving me problems with. It really is just such a close-knit community, and I am so thankful for that. It is definitely by far the best part. Most of the video options on Booktube are book tags, reviews, or unboxings. How do you come up with new video ideas or find the inspiration to create new content outside of these options? First of all, unboxings are the shit. Secondly, I think you just kind of have to think of everything as a video idea. Like, anytime I'm reading, I'm like, how can I turn this into a discussion topic? I read a book once and I was like, wow, I'm really sick of people only liking to read in books and having no other hobbies. We need diverse hobbies. Lately, I've been really feeling like my rating system is totally out of whack and nothing is consistent. The great rating crisis of 2016. Because I love discussing things with people and getting new perspective, most of my original content is discussion topics, but there are people that are really funny in this community that just like making jokes of stuff, and that's why you have people like Christine who make comedy videos. Just play to your strengths and look at things like, how can I make this a video topic? How did friends and family react to you starting a Booktube channel? Like I said, people in my life had known that I've been on YouTube for quite some time, so it wasn't like a big transition. I have definitely had friends that will play my videos in the car while I'm driving and I can't turn it off. I've had people that look at me weird when I say I make videos about books, but for the most part, everyone in my life has been really supportive about it. I mean, even when I like go to Chipotle by myself and I run into someone from high school, they ask me how YouTube's doing and they think that it's awesome. So while I'm lucky enough to have a really great experience with that transition of telling people about my Booktube channel, I think it gets a lot easier when you stop caring what other people think and say to yourself, this is something I really enjoy and I'm not going to let anyone else's opinions take that away from me. When you have something that you truly care about, other people won't influence it because it means so much to you. What are 3 things that you've learned or discovered about yourself in booktubing? I have learned so much about my personal values, not only for what I view in books, but just in life through discussing things with this community and being involved with everyone else. I have gained so much confidence in the last 2.5 years of booktube just because I'm constantly speaking about my opinions and I don't let other people take that away from me. And number 3, I just feel like in general, I have a better understanding of who I am as a person and what is important to me and what I need to keep in my life. Like, since starting booktube, I've cut a lot of toxic people out of my life because they weren't doing what I needed them to do, whereas people on booktube have filled those spaces in me rather than taking them away. I feel like I'm just so much more comfortable with who I am since I started booktubing. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm talking about, whether it's books or hooping or music, anything I'm interested in, other people's opinions just don't affect me anymore because I've just gained this ultimate confidence and self-awareness through booktube. So I feel like that was only 2 things put into one. But I just learned a lot and I'm a totally different person since starting booktube and I'm really, really thankful for that. Does your location matter when working with publishing houses or requesting books? Now, I can't speak for anyone who doesn't live in the United States here. Yes, in the United States, if you have a good following, publishers are very willing to work with you. I can't speak for everywhere else, but I do think if you are in a different country and you reach out to the publishers that are in that specific country, I feel like they are more willing to work with you. I know from speaking to representatives on Penguin that their quota is like 10,000 subscribers, but I do know people in Australia who have gotten books from Penguin Australia with less than 1,000 subscribers. And I have heard from multiple people that it is sometimes easier in foreign countries to get books because there's less people competing for them. So while I can't say that for sure, it might be something to keep in mind, and even if you are intimidated by the people on booktube in America that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and get a ton of books, it might not be the same in your country. How do you choose to review books and how many do you accept per month? I don't really have a quota for how many books I accept per month. I get a ton of reviews and I deny probably like 99% of them. I'm really picky about books to review because I don't like them overtaking my personal reading. So whenever a synopsis is interesting enough to me and I think I would really like it and I think you guys would like it, that's when I pick it up. I do have a whole list of my review policies on my channel and I will link that below if you're interested and you're somebody who is getting a ton of requests and you don't want to accept all of them. I've written down everything that I accept, everything I don't accept, and like what all my requirements and policies are, so like that helps me filter it out. If I know that they didn't pay attention to that, then that's not something I'm going to pick up. Tips on staying motivated to film and edit and upload reviews. If it's just something you're not interested in, it's not going to be something you're going to do. If you would rather watch Netflix than film a video, there is nothing I can say to help you. I am somebody who loves making videos, editing them, planning them. That's why I spend so much time doing them and I'm able to upload so many of them because it's generally one of my favorite things to do. I just can't make you love booktube the way I do, so it's just kind of something that you have to determine for yourself. If booktube is something that is important to you, that you enjoy doing, you're gonna find the time to do it. If you really want to film a video, you're gonna be able to step away from Netflix and film a video. But there's just no point in me saying you have to film all these videos and do this many per week because that's not fun and that's not gonna motivate you. Just be aware of your priorities and what is important to you and make sure that you just have a balance of what you enjoy outside of booktube and what you enjoy while doing booktube. Any ideas for a first booktube video? I'm a person who does not believe that you have to have a specific introduction video to start a YouTube channel. My first video was Mary Kiss Cliff and I stand by that as a first video. If there's something you're interested in, upload it. It doesn't matter. People will get to know you through your videos and it's not weird to just start uploading videos without a kind of introduction. If you are looking for an introduction, the Booktube newbie tag is a great choice. I would think 25 bookish facts about me would also be a great video if you're looking to have people know more about you before starting videos. Just do what feels right. I mean, I don't think anyone needs to specifically introduce themselves because I didn't and so many people know me through my Booktube channel now. So if you want an introduction video, go for it. Make an introduction video and talk about your favorite books or your favorite TV and movies and what you like to do and what you're interested in. Film a specific first booktube video like the Booktube newbie tag or 25 bookish facts about me, or just upload a video. And there you go, you've joined the Booktube community. I think that's a good way to end this video, so I am always open to answering more questions about Booktube, so you can leave them in the comments of my videos or tweet me. If there are any things that you would like to see specifically as a Booktubing one individual video on a topic that you think I could really go into, please let me know and I would love to film that for you. Thank you guys so much for asking me all of these questions. I know I didn't answer all of them, but I thought I answered the ones that would be most beneficial to you guys. And of course, thank you for watching Booktubing 101 for the past 2 years, which is crazy to me. That is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!